Shalom, Bruchim Habaim. Welcome to this video. In this video, I will show you why you are learning Hebrew the wrong way and how you can fix it. Okay, grab a coffee, lean back. We will dive right into it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ruth Avni. I am an ex-Ulpan student who became a Hebrew teacher. So I know all the confusions. I had all the questions that you have, and I found the way through it. And since then, I am on a mission to help others to also master Hebrew. Now, what I said in the title and also in the introduction, that many students learn Hebrew the wrong way. What does that actually mean? Well, this idea, this is what I just told you, got reinforced by all of those calls, those phone calls that I had in the last 2 weeks with people from my newsletter list. I offered an orientation call with me where I asked them, are you stuck? And what are you doing right now in Hebrew? And that inspired me to make this video because there is one thing that came up all over again. Now, many students go about Hebrew like this. They are first learning vocabulary. Sounds fine. And then they move towards the verb conjugations. Okay, now many are doing this first at the same time. So, vocabulary and verbs and conjugations. Then they come to the situation where that feels a little bit difficult with Hebrew verbs and they actually put this on for later. So there's this idea, if I have enough vocabulary, the verbs I can fill in, and even if I talk maybe in infinitives, well, yeah, in Hebrew you first have to get there. I can still make it. And this leads to a situation where they feel like, well, it somehow never sticks. So even that first part of learning vocabulary, somehow they say it never sticks. And that, of course, makes it, turns this into a situation where they end up saying, I will never reach the verbs or the verb conjugation because I cannot even make the vocabulary stick. Interesting. So, what is happening here? First of all, when you now look at the general picture, what are they doing? They learn vocabulary and move towards the verbs. That is what I describe as a classical left to right approach. Well, yeah, you write English from left to right, but let me remind you, this works for languages that you write from left to right, but we are learning here a language that is actually writing from right to left. And here comes my first advice for everybody. You have to learn Hebrew the other way round. It's written from right to left. Now learn it from right to left. What does that actually mean? Well, that means we start with verbs and we move to the vocabulary. We do not start with conjugations, we start with patterns. And the patterns actually give us the vocabulary. That's many, many times built in. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it anymore. But the other way around, it's a lot of work and it's exhausting. Let me give you examples. So, lichtov is a pa'al verb, to write. Now, if you imagine Hebrew verbs on the menorah, so you're on the lower right now, pa'al, and now you want to move up to lehachtiv, hif'il. Why would you do that? Because lichtov is what you are doing. And now what you are doing, you make somebody else do, you make somebody else write, and you come to dictate. You see already here a pattern, right? Where we are going. So, if you know that this is, generally speaking, the hif-il character, and you see the verb leachtiv, and you recognize the root in it, it could give you already a direction. When I'm saying could is, it depends on, when I say could, then because it depends on your level of awareness. But this is where Semitic languages go. And this is why language teachers with a Semitic background, like in their mother tongue, they skip a lot of explanations. But as a speaker of a European language, including American English, it's just not on your radar. So we have now moved up. We have to come to dictate. And if you are now doing the same thing, you're writing to somebody and this person is writing to you, you have the same activity on the same level. This is when you're in hit pa'el, and here you have lehit katev. Now, from here, we can come to nouns. Lichtov, to write, the writing is ketiva. And you will recognize it when you have learned the pattern, even though you might not know writing as a noun, but you see the pattern and you understand the root. Here we are. Now, here, for example, lehachtiv, dictate, dictating, and the dictation is hachtava. Since you have learned that hey at the beginning, hey at the end, and the root in the middle, that is 99% of the cases a noun from hif-il, and you might recognize this root. So this is lehachtiv and then hachtava. You understand right away, no problem. You just get it. And the last one, lehitkatev, hitkatevut. Also, this is the pattern of hitpael. And as you can see, these are here the connections. The patterns are the connections. And what you have to learn, what you need, what kind of training you need is actually the decoding. This is what I do in the masterclass of the verbs. I train you in decoding verbs and to make them yourself. When you see hachtava, I will ask you, do you know how to make the infinitive from it? And to come to this level where you do not have the roots marked, but you still recognize them right away, well, this is normally the level that my students have after the Hebrew verb masterclass. Okay, now having said that, let me also show you what gets easier with the knowledge of Hebrew verb patterns. Suddenly, the vocabulary sticks because you recognize it. You don't have to memorize, you see the connection. The reading becomes easier because you have the same effect. You somehow recognize it, and you also recognize not only the pattern of what binyan it is and what that means and how many people are involved. Every pattern comes with specific vowels. And when you know the pattern, you can read without nikud. That means your pronunciation becomes better. You have much less doubts when you know, oh, is normally would there be a dot in the middle of the letter or not? So is it lichtov, lichtov? These kind of doubts you don't have anymore because you understood the pattern and you know why it can only be lichtov and not lichtov. So new words become suddenly understandable because you get out of this complete night vision. Not everything is the same and you don't see. You suddenly have night goggles on. You see the pattern instantly. Once you have been trained in recognizing patterns, you cannot unsee them any longer. And that means in the end you are becoming independent. And your awareness becomes like a window that you open, or it's like a curtain that opens, and you see all the connections. Does that mean you don't have to learn vocabulary any longer? No, but it becomes much, much, much easier because of the connections. It sticks. And it's also much more motivating. That means the part that you do have to learn, you are up for it. You say, give it to me. That works. Now I finally know how to do it. Is it still work? Yes. But repeating vocabulary that doesn't stick is not only work, it's absolutely exhausting. So I invite you to come to my newsletter, sign up. I have weekly tips that I'm sending to my newsletter subscribers to help you move forward. And yeah, who knows? I don't know when my next call to my newsletter subscribers will be, and maybe you will also have a chance to talk to me directly. Okay, I hope this was helpful to you. Don't forget to subscribe, and I see you in the next lesson. Neshikot. Shalom.